Where do you see AI fitting in here? Is it coming to take everybody's jobs?
So I can predict the future, but I don't have to be right.
Do you play golf?
Stop thinking that way.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another Iris Pod. Delighted today to be joined by Chief Strategy Officer of Sigma Connected, Peter Doveren. Peter.
Great to be here, Tom. Thank you very much for the invite.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming here. And we've already covered a lot of ground. Organic gardening day,
I suppose.
which neither of us partake in,
No.
and long distance running, which you do partake in.
I do. And coffee. We talked about coffee.
And coffee.
Vital in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's good to meet you and good to have you here on the Iris Pod. Let's start. Sigma Connected, your role as Chief Strategy Officer. What's your journey into that?
Oh, great, Tom. Great to hear. So Sigma Connected, I'm with the company now for 2 years. I have to say 2 very dynamic years, very exciting years. But before that, I've spent all my life in customer experience, in the world of customer experience, even when it wasn't even called customer experience, but it was called customer service. And we had a call center and that was it. It all started in the German company, actually, tech support, the world of tech support, first line, second line tech support. Also BPO, so outsourced call centers. And from there, I moved to the other side, to the client side, as we tend to call it. And I had a 10 years with Vodafone in the phase that it was really growing and conquering the world. Did that in 3 countries. That's also I ended up in the lovely UK. And after that, went back to BPO world in Capita, one of our colleagues in the industry, and looked after various industries. So yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot in the world of customer experience. I've seen many channels being introduced. So I'm sure we're going to talk about it today as well. And hopefully, and that's my goal obviously, to use that experience to make it better for our people and for our clients.
You've seen it then at the kind of fundamental level of the business, which gives you a fantastic vantage point into the strategy and the consideration of people. Yes. And I always like this saying that if you don't create a great agent staff experience, then how could you ever create this fantastic customer experience? Just tell us a little bit about how you've seen that change over the years, because like you said, this has gone from being a customer service operation to customer experience. That's far more all-encompassing.
Yeah, that is probably the red thread throughout my career, is the people experience. And let's be very honest about this. When we started this business, we didn't realize the importance of the individuals actually talking to the customer. I mean, how the agent is feeling and how they are equipped and how they train and all of it. We thought, well, that's not the most important thing. So we had other things in our mind. I've always had a deep belief that the people experience is one of the key drivers for your customer experience. Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the 2 talking. So if they both feel all right, if they build a rapport and a connection, you will get a better experience for both sides, as a matter of fact. Sigma, one of the reasons for joining Sigma, given the opportunity to join Sigma, was that they have that as their key strategy. So throughout the years, I ran operations, like I said, multiple sites. I've always seen if you focus enough on making that interaction really work, then you will get a better outcome, 100%. And I'm really pleased that Sigma does so.
How at Sigma, you've been awarded as one of the top places to work, I think, in the Telegraph.
Twice. 2 years in a row. There you go.
2 times in a row. So how can you create culture such that there's connectivity to the brands that you're working for, and also overcome this idea that your contact center is a cost for businesses rather than an investment in the experience?
Yeah, great to talk about. So we won the Times Best Place to Work twice, actually. So 2 years consecutive now. Something we are very, very proud of. We're the only BPO in the top 100. So I think for the industry, it's definitely a industry-changing little milestone for all of us. The answer to the question is, however, is really simple. You just have to have a people-centric culture. And I know everybody talks about it, and it seems as simple as it is. But doing it is really difficult. So it does mean that you have to make sure, first of all, everybody is well equipped to do their job. So everybody has the time to do their job. Average handling time is a very big discussion in the industry, as you know. And the more you push the agent to shorten the time of the call, yeah, the less the agent will be able to perform, the more stressful he, she will feel, and that's not helpful. Well, we also know that if you don't put time stress on it, you will actually get a better call, a better outcome. Making sure they're trained, like I said, get the right tools. We'll talk about it in a minute as well. Making sure that they get support. If there's a very difficult call, which we do a lot because we do high complexity stuff, allow them to just take a breather, have a chat with a colleague, a coach, somebody around them to support them, and celebrate every success, celebrate every day. I mean, it's not much different than any other company, but somehow in the contact center industry, we diverted to just, yeah, as many people as possible, give them as little as possible, small desks, small spaces, minimal training, minimal salary, all of it. And then we all very wondered why they walk away after 2 weeks. So nutrition is obviously a big issue in the industry. So people first, take decisions from the boardroom till the team leader, everywhere. Let's make sure that the agent who is doing the actual work for our clients is in the best position to do so. And I think if you build that as a culture, has to be driven by the person, so by the persons in the board, in the management, the SLT, wherever they are. If you manage to get that culture set, I mean, I think that's what you see what Sigma has done.
AI is obviously something that's, I mean, I think in many cases we've lost the sense of what it even means. But certainly for a business that has such a people-centered reason for being, where do you see AI fitting in here? Is it coming to take everybody's jobs?
Yeah.
Is it as dramatic as that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot to say about that. And first of all, I think, so AI is an absolute hype at the moment. I mean, everywhere, first of all, everywhere you go, every conference, I mean, it's, I don't know about yourself, but I get about 25 emails per day of people promising me the world that AI is going to make my business super duper better as it currently is. I don't think that's the case. So I do believe that AI is a different technology than we have seen in the past. So we do believe that it will make more impact than previous channels, previous technology that we have seen. And don't forget, I mean, in the industry, we have relentlessly been trying to stop humans working. The moment we had a chat channel, we put a chatbot on it. We thought even we could automate emails. We've always self-service, self-care, crowd servicing, so let other people answer questions from your customers. We've always tried to have as minimum people as possible. To your point, see them as a cost while they are actually a value add in your customer experience. We failed doing that because no matter how many new technologies and new channels we've added for our customers to choose from, we've only got more voice calls. So the end user, for lack of a better word for now, but the customers always want to talk at some point in their journey to a live human being, a warm voice, empathy, listen and explain what's going on instead of typing it. So a long way of saying AI, we believe, will not change that. It will not change that. There will be a level of substitution for a voice call, as all technologies have done. But I believe it's going to be more substitution for self-care. So where simple transactions. I mean, I always take the example of change of address. I mean, preferably you don't want to do that in a voice communication because you have to spell the street name and mistakes can. I mean, that is much easier, quicker to do that on a computer or with a voice bot. But the moment that you take away the human element out of a customer experience, I mean, that's a missed opportunity, I think. So back to your question, AI we will keep talking about it for a few years for sure. It still has to mature in a way. AI is not new. I mean, it's already, I don't know, maybe people say 50 years old, right? Regular machine learning business programmed responses are called AI now, right? It's obviously since ChatGPT launched their generative AI. There's still a lot of hurdles to overcome when we really talk about generative AI on the field of regulation, about, hallucinations. We all know about this, right? So I would say let's keep a very close eye on it, and let's use it where it can really help our customers, help our clients, and help our people. And I think there are many opportunities to do that.
You're right. The AI hype cycle, we're definitely, I don't know, I keep thinking we're reaching the peak, and then it never fails to amaze me on the next thing that we're adding a bit of AI to.
Yeah,
A new golf club that I have, which has not improved my game, has AI in it apparently, which is a complete nonsense. Let's be honest. So in terms of how you can equip your...
I like to.
I'll give you the... Do you play golf?
I do, and I need all the help I can. So if this helps in any way, it's
I can assure you it doesn't.
It does.
But it makes you feel better when you're addressing the ball. This might be a new theme for the podcast. We can do a little golf section.
Yes, we're always looking shots as well.
Yeah, exactly. We could do it on a range. That's a great idea.
Love that.
You make a great point, how it can help our people. So what kind of technologies have you been exploring that can really empower your teams to do a better job, get more into the enjoyment factor of their roles as well? Because I think there's a certain element where you said, if you're motivated as a team member, and contact center, I feel like was never previously seen as a career, but I see more now that contact center is a career choice, and tools can help empower our agents to do better work, feel more involved, feel more connected to their customers.
Yes, 100%. So clearly, our main operation is in South Africa, as you know. So the big difference between the UK is that we do see that our people, our colleagues, see it more as a career, as instead of a temporary job or step-up job, which we see a lot in the UK. Making their workday better. Obviously, the iris technology that we use, I think, is an excellent example. When I was thinking about our chat this morning, I went back to, long time ago, 2005, which was the first time that I visited contact centers in South Africa. And I'm not going to mention names, but one of them was a really very packed floor. And we were walking around, there was a lot of dynamic, a lot of noise going on. And two agents were actually sitting underneath their desk. So they got off the chair, crawled under the desk with the headset on and some piece of paper, because they couldn't hear the customer. And I'm sure the customer couldn't hear them as well. So the Sigma will always look for that empathetic connection, emotional connection with the customer. So we want to make sure we deliver a highly personal customer experience. You can only do that if you can concentrate, if there's no distractions, if on both sides, if there's no background noise, if you don't hear the coffee mug from your colleague, or the conversation even, and the other side as well. Only if you're not disturbed in the conversation, you will build that rapport and that true connection, that you can really listen to the customer, not what is he saying, but what is the problem and how can we help. So I think, the technology that we use with Iris is an absolutely great example. We see great results for that. So that's one. There's more down the line. Using technology, machine learning, let me not always talk about AI. Machine learning can be used to analyze data. It doesn't take a lot of imagination that we sit and we capture a lot of data, not just from the customer, but also in the conversation. If you analyze the speech, the words that are actually being said, and all within the rules, obviously, there's a lot you can learn from that conversation. And not just the words used, the questions asked, or the content, but also the form, the sentiment, happy, not happy, escalation. So feeding that back to our clients to allow them to improve their business with a continuous improvement, I think is an amazing technology where we can still do a lot. We're doing it already, but we can still do a lot. So I mean, take that to the, I think one of the future trends as well that we're going to see very soon next is everything that has to do with vulnerability, mental health. Are we strong enough in recognizing when either the customer or our colleague is really struggling with the topic or with the conversation at all, and can we take it from there? So I mean, there's a long list of ideas where the technology of AI is going to help us in the future, 100% sure. What we will hopefully not do is replace the agent with a robot. And that's not what we're going to do, because I don't think that's applicable.
I think you raised some excellent points. The idea that we're empowering the agent, we're actually taking away probably some of the mundane features of what would have been their job previously. And actually, I think about the point you made, change of address.
Yeah.
It's probably more secure doing that as a customer directly into a portal rather than relaying that information over a call. Empathy and understanding maybe as an agent some of the things that you're saying that are maybe antagonistic to a customer, and that AI is able to prompt either you as an agent directly, but your manager or coach to help you. You're going to get more job satisfaction out of this type of experience going forward.
And let me build on that, Tom. So the agents wants to learn. They want to do their job better. It applies to all of us. You want to do your job better every day. I want to do it better every day. So the more, let's say, constructive and helpful feedback you get, you will feel more confident, and you'll feel stronger in tackling the next conversation. So if an AI engine listens into the call and detects from previous conversations where the agent could have done a better job and feeds that back, so agent coaching by AI, that's amazing. I mean, it will always require a human being to actually go through that and say, well, Tom, this is the best way to do that, and learn new skills. But agent coaching is an amazing opportunity as well. As, I mean, like I said, business improvement throughout the business. I think for everybody involved in that customer experience is an opportunity. Think about knowledge management. So another topic where AI is a really big topic. While the conversation is going on, present proactively to the agent and maybe even to the customer at some point information that could be helpful. And it could be normal customer information, but it could also be whatever it is, right? So about the question there is, this is how you're supposed to do that. After every call, we make a few notes, and we log that in systems so that we know when the customer calls back, obviously. So we log the call. Perfectly, if a generative AI engine does that for you, does all the typing, and the only thing you need is just a quick browse through if it's all correct and the computer didn't forget anything. And I could probably go on for a couple of hours on this, but there's going to be more and more really smart applications. Like, again, what we talk about today is what you guys did. It's amazingly smart, and it's really helpful. So I hope that we'll come up with more innovations like that.
I think one of the key things, if you're going to leverage that data, you need to have good quality data going in. And one of the places that we sit is about making sure that those other noise sources are not polluting the voice stream, both from the customer side and the agent side. Because of course, all of this only works as well as the data that it's working off, right? And I think that's where you see these hallucination type factors that are coming in from an AI perspective that is a concern for certain people in the industry.
Yeah, 100%. No, I mean, 100%. I mean, if you call a contact center, you need help, and you have a serious issue, and you can hardly understand the person on the other side, you will automatically generate a complaint afterwards. You can say, I couldn't understand the person. And at that point, everything starts to be an issue, right? So yeah, I mean, I think it's of great value what we do. And like I said, we see great results already.
The repetition element as well. If you're dealing with complexity and details, sometimes matters of compliance, it might be a credit card number if you're doing a transaction or some details like this. You know, if you're having to repeat those over the over the noise, that presents a challenge and a potential security issue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. So credit card is that is all automated because we're not allowed to listen to those. We don't want to know the numbers clearly. But yeah, any repetition, like I said, anything. I mean, just imagine a very difficult conversation. Imagine that we do some credit collection work. So you're in arrears. You cannot pay your bills. Very difficult situation. So you need to talk to somebody about that. We pick up the call and you find yourself that they just repossessed your car, but you need that vehicle urgently because a family member needs to go to the hospital. Real life, this happens. You don't want to hear people laughing in the background when you have that conversation. And the colleagues next to you, when they just tell a good joke, they are entitled to have a giggle. Right? So you shouldn't be. So yeah, I think it's a crucial experience it's crucial that the customer experience is protected like that. And like I said, then you can build that personal connection, rapport. It will go quicker. Yeah, so you don't need to invest in big wall reduction, ceilings, and whatever you have to do. So you can still have an open space and create a nice working environment for the agents. I'm selling you product, but it's really working, right? So we really see good results there. Yeah.
Flipping this to the customer.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time on the agent side. What's your thoughts on the customer? What are the customers seeking more and more now? I certainly think, if I think about my own, I like to just do things straight away.
Yeah.
But if it's complicated, I want to know that I can speak to somebody and that they're going to be well trained. They're going to know what they're talking about. There's nothing more frustrating than being passed around. Yeah. And I think customers, certainly from our research, would suggest that they've become ever more demanding about the immediacy of access if they're going down a self-serve channel, but similarly the immediate access to a human being if they want to talk about something.
Yeah. So the customer side is the most interesting side from all of it. And there's a few trends happen. So first of all, what I call service inflation. And because for many brands, it's seen as a cost. They chip away from the service offering more and more and more. And it could be as simple as opening hours. It could be as having longer waiting times. In many industry, a waiting time of half an hour is common these days, right? Which is very poor, right? To keep the language very nice, right? So that's one. The second thing that we see is that a few brands actually do the opposite. Amazon was make a big step by next day delivery and all that. So we see that the customer expectation is managed up by some brands as well. And obviously that's conflicting. So you never know what you're going to get. And we do thankfully see that more and more customers say, I don't want to deal with that company because their customer service is really, really bad. And in their advertising, you see that customer services, Octopus is a beautiful example here. They're constantly advertising about a really good customer service, rightfully so. So on the customer side, I think you're 100% right. The demands are increasing. But the basic, and of course there are exceptions in demographies, is exactly like you said, Tom. So it has to be convenient. It has to be at the time that I want to. I don't want to repeat myself. I don't mind if I have to put time and effort in it, but in principle, as little as possible. Right? So, if you really have a complex issue, when I moved abroad, I've done it a few times, you need a few really serious conversations because it's very complex and you have a lot of questions. You don't want to do it yourself online, that means then back and forth. That's one. But if it's very simple, not a great example I commonly use is ordering a pizza. Right? You should do that really in the app and click and pay and done. So that's convenient. However, if then I don't get the order I want to, I ordered, I want to speak to the shop straight away and I want them to deliver whatever is missing or has gone wrong as soon as possible. So exceptions, many of the exceptions are caused by companies themselves because the systems aren't working, the self-care portals aren't working. So there's still many reasons, and like I said, it's no rocket science. I don't think this has changed over the years that much. There's only a few people who pick up the phone and have a service conversation with that brand for fun. There's always a need for it. So why send them away? I mean, there's still, and sorry, going to be a bit mean now, but there's still a lot of brands when you wait for the call, tell you, please go online.
Yeah.
And I think, well, that's not very respectful. I'm sure the person has done that already. And the fact that they're now doing the voice call is a reason that that wasn't working. So yeah, now, from a customer perspective, there's not a lot of change. Like I said, what is the change? The expectations are higher. They want to know who I am. They want to know in principle what I'm calling for, what I've done, my history. And the customer wants you as a brand to use that for their benefit and not for the companies. So that's obviously why we still get it wrong a little bit. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I think spot on, and you've almost seen brands go, let's put this all online, and then they've had so much pushback to that that they then have to augment to a multi-channel offering.
Yeah.
No one's going to go back to the days of only a telephone.
No.
That's just not going to happen. But you see a number of steps to automate, push this to the customer. And then, okay, no, we need to backtrack a little bit now and bring this back in. Yeah. I mean, there's the famous example earlier in the year of HMRC. We're going to shut everything down, and then massive pushback, and then within 24 hours, unwind from that decision. That was a pretty extreme example, but
well, I've seen a few of those in my career. So a few really not small, but leading companies with leading consultancies, and the top of the industry making statements like 80-90% contact reduction, call reduction, so not contact reduction. And one after the other just fell over within months. It all failed. And what I would always like to encourage the decision makers in this and my colleagues in the industry, stop thinking that way. I mean, just embrace your customer conversation. Make sure when it's not helpful for you, fix it. Make sure it happens in the first place, or indeed allow the customer to do it really simple online themselves or whatever. But if not, embrace it and get a value out of that customer interaction. And that value could be data, could be information, could be you could offer new services, right? I mean, upsell, cross-sell, as we call it, or just understand your customer better and give them a good experience. If you have had a good experience with a brand, you're likely to go for rebuy, for repurchase. I mean, we know that it's proven. That's the whole Net Promoter Score philosophy, right? So the moment that the customer does reach out to you, I mean, maximize the value of that interaction and make them a little more loyal to you. And trust me, that is worth every penny.
So, last question then, the future.
Yeah.
I think the BPO industry is actually really exciting. You represent the brand's face out into their customer. And I think not a lot of people that are outside of this industry would appreciate that when they're speaking to their favorite brand or their less favorite brand, in many instances, this is a BPO company that's working on their behalf. AI is coming, it's here, but it's augmenting all the time. What does the future look like for the BPO industry?
Yeah, and that's the great thing about my job. So I can predict the future, but I don't have to be right, because nobody will ever check, right? So, that's a good,
and if you're right, you are a genius.
I'm a genius, but nobody will ever talk to me about that either. No, so I mean, there's two ways of answering the question. The first one, like we talked about extensively, I think we will see this technology being applied more and more in smart ways we haven't even seen today yet. But that is the, I call it the exploration way. So what we do now, let's do it more and better. That's easy to do. We do see a few trends. I talked about vulnerability, mental health, really looking after the individual, both sides. Not just, you feel, did you have a good day today? Good, see you tomorrow. No, but really, I mean, especially in the credit and collection sector where we operate a lot, mental health and having money issues and paying your bills issues is so related and leads to really terrible things. So that will play a bigger role combined with fraud and trust So is the person calling really the person that they are, and is it all real? I think that is becoming a bigger topic. So I think those two trends, everything that has to do with vulnerability, mental health, and trust and advisory, I think those two are going to be quite big. The longer term future, the customer is going to surprise us. I'm sure they're going to surprise us, because that's always the unknown. And if I can use one example from my telco days, SMS has been a main product for many, many years, right? And actually a big revenue generator as well for the industry. SMS was never designed as a consumer product, but I think it was designed for actually machine-to-machine communication, hence the 164 characters. But obviously it was picked up by consumers as something great, and we've seen a few of those in the past. So I think consumers will stand up, will change the world that we live in more than we think today. And I honestly believe that the human elements for both our people and the customers will going to surprise us massively. So there you go. That's a prediction. Could go in any direction, but I'm sure it's going to be true.
We'll check back. We'll check back in a few years. I just want to actually follow up on one point. Technology and customers or agents with vulnerability, mental well-being kind of aspects. How do you see technology and, whether it's a customer that's, going through something, or empowering an agent maybe with neurodiversity? We're seeing a world now where we're embracing people with these conditions into the workplace. Yeah. So how can technology play a part in leveling the playing field?
So in many ways. I mean, I'm really pleased. Neurodiversity is also a big topic, and finally we're opening our eyes to that. So there's many ways how you can do that. I mean, and I'm not the expert on this, so let's be very, very careful here. But in the team, if you do Teams calls, let's talk about a situation around colleagues. In a Teams call, it's expected these days to be on camera. I think that is a bit the unwritten rule. Will differ per company, but for us definitely is. It could be that you don't feel like that, if you have a form of ADHD or whatever, that you don't feel like that, or that you want to do something else while you're on the call. You could still be very concentrated and fully in the discussion, but it might look that you're distracted. I think technology could allow that to happen. I think you could change settings. I think you could, just make it very clear and visible to everybody that's the situation that we're dealing with. We're very much at the beginning of that journey. Yeah. I think, but yeah, amazing that we do that. Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Peter, thank you so much. It's been fantastic to have you on the pod. Wide-ranging conversation. Really appreciate your thoughts. I think our listeners and viewers, for those of them that are joining on YouTube, will really be fascinated by what you have to say. We'll be back in the future with more Iris Pod conversations. Peter's, you've set the bar now. We need to find more.
Good.
Yeah. One thing to just mention: we've talked about a lot of subjects today. You can actually find a lot of this written in our white paper, iris.audio/white paper, and you can get your hands on that free copy. We're actually releasing an update to that report in partnership with Peter Ryan Consulting. That will be coming out later this year, with a special report for the Philippines market as well, which is a strong BPO stronghold. We'll be back out there in a few weeks. So hope you've enjoyed this conversation. Thank you again.
Definitely did. Yeah, thank you very much for being here. It was great to talk about this, and let's continue to have the conversation in the industry to get it better.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.